National Education Policy 2020 has announced National Foundational Literacy and Numeracy Mission, which calls out and sets a deadline of 2025 to achieve foundational literacy and numeracy. Foundational literacy refers to the skills and strategies involved in reading, speaking, writing, and interpreting one's thoughts, for which power of words are essential. In this video, I will concentrate on improving the skill of power of words, which is called as vocabulary. It is very often observed that our children, they use slang words or inappropriate words in their daily life, as well as they try to copy the language spoken by cartoon characters. They could pick up the popular songs as well as mimic the advertisements. How? Of course, they pick up all these words or the sentences from their surrounding. They unconsciously hear so many words, sentences, songs, etc. etc. So, hearing is an unconscious process. Now, our role is to change this unconscious process of hearing into fruitful process that is called as listening. Listening requires concentration so that our brain processes meaning from words and sentences. More the child listens new words, more he practices to reproduce or speak the words, his vocabulary will strengthen. Vocabulary is an important asset in learning any language, whether it is mother tongue, English, French, Spanish, German, etc. etc. As per the research, it is observed that over 85% of a child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to the age of 6. If children do not acquire literacy skills in the early stages, children will not be able to cope up with the rigor of the curriculum. It creates learning gaps. So these learning gaps has to be taken care at the entry level only. Early literacy refers to the development of skills students need in order to transition from learning to read to reading to learn. These skills include vocabulary, phonics, language, and numeracy, to name a few. Early literacy gives students the foundation they need in order to learn and grow. Skills involved in developing early literacy include vocabulary, print motivation, print awareness, narrative skills, letter knowledge, and phonological awareness. These important foundational skills are the building blocks for learning to read and write. Vocabulary is about building meaning and understanding, which comes from putting words into action and making meaningful connections. Developing vocabulary should be a natural and fun part of the classroom experience. Let us see how the vocabulary of the mother tongue is applied to learn the second language. On seeing this picture, the children with different mother tongue will try to name this animal. Like the child with Hindi mother tongue will say Billi. With Telugu, the child will say Pilli. With Tamil, the child will say it is Punnai. With the mother tongue Kannada, the child will say that it is Bekku. The Bengali child will say it is Biral. The child with Malayalam mother tongue will say it is Poocha. The child with Gujarati mother tongue will say this is Biladi. And the child with Marathi mother tongue will say this is Manjar. And then we can introduce that this is called as cat. So this is an fun activity in which the child's vocabulary of its mother tongue can be applied to learn the second language. There are four types of vocabulary. Listening vocabulary refers to the words we need to know to understand what we hear. And speaking vocabulary consists of the words we use when we speak. Reading vocabulary refers to the words we need to know to understand what we read. And the writing vocabulary consists of the words we use in writing. Indirect vocabulary instructions. Most vocabulary is attained through indirect methods like daily conversation, independent reading, read aloud, and oral discussion. Direct vocabulary instructions are formal vocabulary curriculum, word analysis, teaching root words, suffixes and prefixes, and the concept map. Vocabulary instruction steps. When a new word comes up in conversation or in a book, provide a simple age-appropriate definition for the new word. Provide one or two examples that make sense to the child. Encourage the child to think of its own example or the opposite of the new word. Use the new word in conversation over the next few days. Try not to overdo. A rule of thumb is to choose 5 unfamiliar new words each week. Take an example of the story of the fox and the crow. So first of all, this story has to be read aloud to the child. Once upon a time, there was a crow. He had a piece of meat. A hungry fox came there. His mouth watered when he saw the piece of meat. He thought of a plan to get it. He praised the voice of the crow. The fox set him to sing a song. When the crow opened his mouth to sing, the piece of meat fell down. The fox ate it and went away. So the word hungry, or before that, the fox and the crow. If the child doesn't understand the second language, the child will try to identify the animals with the help of these pictures. Then the word a hungry fox came there. Hungry is a new word for the child. So first of all, if he asks, what is the meaning of hungry? It means wanting to eat. Now, we can use it in different ways. Are you not feeling hungry? I am hungry. Let us eat some food. By showing the picture, full and hungry. So the opposite of hungry is well fed or full. Today I am not feeling hungry. My stomach is full. So the child will try to understand the meaning of hungry. In this way, reading stories to the child or regular conversation with the child help in improving child's vocabulary. Typically, a child needs to hear a new word 4 to 12 times before it is added to his vocabulary. The child try to visualize the words through pictures or concrete objects like toys and puppets. The Matthew effect. The more words you know, the more you can read. The more you read, the more words you will learn. For children starting school with a limited vocabulary, more reading does not result in more vocabulary. Pivotal early childhood themes provide natural context for vocabulary development like animals, family, weather, community, transport, and holidays. So, parents at home and teachers at school have to first of all help the child to build up and strengthen the vocabulary. Thank you.